I would like to relate Austrolibertarianism and our freedom movement to the book Starfish and the Spider. I don't know if you're familiar with it, so let me start with the flavor of the book. It's a 5-year-old book that talks about what exactly is a decentralized organization, its strengths, its weaknesses, and the authors compare it to two animals whose structure superficially looks similar. The spider on the one hand and the starfish on the other. The spider has a central body, 8 legs. The starfish, central body, 5 arms. Internally, however, their biology is completely different. If you cut a leg of a spider, what you get is a 7-legged crippled spider. If you cut the head, though, it dies. It cannot live without its command center. We are familiar a lot with spider organizations, be it a government, corporations, and even traditional think tanks. They have boards, they have CEOs, hierarchies, headquarters, etc. Now, the starfish, if you cut an arm of a starfish, it will grow one back. And if you cut the starfish in half, an amazing thing happens. 2 organisms survive. 2 different starfish survive. There's even a species of starfish called the Lynchia that if you cut all 5 arms of it, it will grow 5 separate organisms. So each arm has its own different organs. Each arm has its own stomach, its own muscles, its own way of feeding itself, and there's no central organ, except for a nerve ring that connects the arms. That's a decentralized organism, in this case. When you look at the world today, there are more and more starfish organizations that are sprouting. And at our own Austrolibertarian freedom movement, I would argue that we are starting to behave like an adaptable, hard-to-combat starfish, with each institute or any other organized initiative behaving as an arm of the starfish, and the nerve ring being the Austrian libertarian doctrine. Another interesting example from the book was the AA, the Alcoholics Anonymous, which is totally decentralized. Bill Wilson, the founder, was an alcoholic himself back in the 30s. And he realized that the treatment that they used to have never worked, which was seeing a specialist, etc., because they would rationalize and get home and get a drink. So he found that it's much more difficult to do that rationalization when you have a group of your peers. So he started AA. And at some point, people started creating different circles of AA, different towns, and he had to make a decision. Whether to centralize the structure or let it go. And he decided to let it go. And the AA became flexible, equal, and mutating because of that. I would argue that Lou is like Bill Wilson of the AA, not on the alcoholic side. I mean, he catalyzed the idea, he built the main cell, and got out of the way for the talents to rise and the cells to spring up, like Brazil and the other efforts that we are seeing today. At first, the Mises Institute might look like a spider. It has a board, it has a CEO, it has some hierarchy, a physical address, but look again, Auburn is not where the organization exists. Professors are spread all over the world. There's no formal hierarchy. And we have the Mises and Rothbard's institutes acting independently and at the same time as a network. So if you would thump the Mises Institute on the head, and I'm sorry, Lou, for that, would Austrolibertarianism die? No. Is there a clear division of roles among the cells? No. Is knowledge concentrated? No. Are the cells self-funded or are they centrally funded? I wish that Lou would throw some checks at us at Brazil, but no, we're not centrally funded. So, ladies and gentlemen, we then reach the conclusion that we are genuine starfish. As with the internet, if you would kill half the sites on the internet, it would survive. And the same happens with our movement. We are a cell-based, independent, underground network, and I hope underground not for long. We are building the network as we speak. And since it is an open system, more and more people want to join and contribute. First as individuals, and then, which I think is what really makes a difference, as part of teams or independent cells. And if we're talking about people that would like to start an Austrolibertarian organization or cell or something like that, you don't need more than to put up a site or start translating and publishing material or starting a podcast or whatever. Just do it. It's simple and virtually costless. We have done it in Brazil. Gabriel Calçada has done it in Spain. Vlad has done it in Romania. The Swedish mafia, the Joaquins, have done it in Sweden, Poland, Japan, Chile, Russia, everywhere. To build a great team, of course, is much more of a challenge. But they are sprouting because we have the example of the Mises Institute and of Lou. When the network fully develops and the network effect kicks in, the network effect being as the network grows, more and more people want to join and contribute, there will be no stopping us. The centralized statists won't be a match for us. That's it.